Well, this is awkward. I took an unannounced, like, month-long break from uploading YouTube videos. But I'm not like here to apologize because like every time that I've done that in the past, you guys have like overwhelmed me with messages saying like it's fine to take a break when you feel like that's necessary for your family. So not an apology, just an explanation. December was crazy, as it is for everyone. Miles had bronchitis, Callan had the flu, they both had pink eye at one point. I was pretty sick, Daryl got pretty sick. Callan is still under the weather a little bit. Can you hear me all right? The washer and dryer are running right now. Hope that isn't annoying for you. Today's video is kind of fun. We're gonna be going over some controversial opinions. I posted it on my Instagram for people to like drop their opinions that were controversial. I guess unpopular opinions would be another way of putting it. Anyways, I convinced Daryl to sit down with me and go over these. We're gonna go over some unpopular opinions. We're gonna share our opinions on the unpopular opinions. We're gonna get canceled after this video, so I guess this is goodbye. Please welcome Daryl Martin to my YouTube channel.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
This is not a podcast, and I'm not joining you, and I've been here the whole time.
Let's clear one thing up. Are you here under duress? The answer is no.
No.
We were expecting like unpopular opinions like Dr. Pepper is bad for you. Winter sucks. We were expecting things like that. But
softball answers. What are you, the president?
You can't say that.
No, I can't.
But instead, you guys sent in questions, or not questions, you guys sent in opinions that if we actually talk about, we will 125% get canceled, banned from YouTube. So this is the end of my YouTube career. I hope you're happy. Look at this. We've got a lot of questions.
That was like in 2 hours time. You have a vicious group of followers.
Dude, probably gonna have to make this a two-part series because there's no way we're gonna get through all of these today, but we're gonna give it a shot. Anyways, thank you for being here.
There's not even a lot of repeats.
All right.
Just gonna hand out opinions. This is gonna be fun.
We're good at that. We're both highly opinionated people.
We tone it down.
Let me just tell you kind of the premise for this. What I did previously was read the opinions out loud so both of us could hear them, so we've kind of been mulling them around. Neither of us voiced an opinion on anything that has been sent in. So, I mean, I feel like I know how you're gonna answer every single one.
Right, but it's not scripted at least.
We have not discussed any of these prior to, so there might be a little bit of like healthy banter. There are two topics that we are not going to be discussing. A lot of people sent in their like unpopular opinion of vaccines. Some people were saying that like they're totally against vaccines. Other people were saying that they're totally for vaccines. However, I personally believe that that is a topic for you to make your own personal decision. I think it's wise to educate yourself, but at the end of the day, that is a decision that you make for yourself and for your children, for your family, what you think is best. Take it to the Lord. I am not going to be voicing an opinion. I don't think Daryl's going to say anything on that.
It goes with anything here. These are opinions. These aren't.
True.
This isn't any sort of guidance. This is just opinions from the way we were brought up and the values that we've come to hold.
So the things that we feel about some of these topics are going to be totally different from what
they're
you
right,
think.
but it might be different.
Stop. Also, we're only like 22, 23, so we really don't know that much about anything. So these are just opinions. Don't take them for anything other than that. Mennonites are not nearly as involved in their community as they should be.
It depends on the community. There's some Mennonite groups that are much more focused on being involved in their community. Some are not so much in their community, more so in like missions and stuff. And I mean, I know of examples off the top of my head, but I think that doesn't really, that's a kind of a blanket statement. Mennonites is pretty wide, but it never hurts to be reminded that just because we're living separate from the world, as the King James Version puts it in the Bible, we got to remember that we're still here to serve, and not all the missions are across seas. Some of it are right in your own backyard.
And I think my opinion on that would be like, this is like Mennonites, and I think this person is saying that, like you said, as a collective whole. But personally, I feel like that is on you, that is on me, that's on each one of us, how involved we are. I've heard so often people have said the Mennonite church isn't involved in like local missions or involved in this. And I've heard it oftentimes, the Mennonite church isn't, you know, they're not getting out there and witnessing. But you go witness, and you are the church. You are the hands and feet of Jesus. And so if it is so important to you, as it should be as a follower of God, go out and get involved in your community, volunteer, walk up to people and tell them about Jesus. And I know it's easier to say that than to do it, but I think that's more important than pointing a finger at the entire group of like a culture and saying, as a whole, you're not involved enough. So
it is easier when your congregation as a whole encourages and enables you to go do that.
Correct.
But definitely doesn't limit you.
Right.
There's different ways to serve.
I feel like the church is never the excuse for why you personally are not involved in something mission.
That can definitely be an asset.
Absolutely. Are we going to spend this much time on every single one? Because
Nope, we'll just do double time.
This video is going to be like an hour. Not all holistic remedies and healing are from God. Satan can use those tools as well. So go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Me and Kim have. But my opinion is, and I don't know much about it, but just, I haven't studied as much as probably Kim has. But if the devil is the prince of the world, and the Bible is very clear about the fact the devil has powers, he is not more powerful than Jesus, but it is asinine to think that only Jesus has powers of healing and powers of doing works on the earth. So I think we have to be very careful. If you go to a lot of times people that come back from Haiti, places like that are really occultish, they talk about all the
it's a really
the powers,
society.
The powers that demons have, and the powers the devil has. So I think we have to be very careful about where our powers come from, and I think that's
right. And as far as like, I mean, I know this person was referencing like natural remedies specifically. This is my controversial take, and I probably should just shut up about it because I don't know a ton about it, but homeopathy, sometimes like it can deal with like the spiritual realm as far as like healing goes, and I think before you get involved in that, I think you need to really research it. I think you need to pray about it and make sure it's the right spirits leading when you step into that. Oh no, just the
our groceries got delivered. Yeah, we're upper class now. We get our groceries delivered.
I just got a free trial. We're not actually upper class.
A lot of powers out there.
Yeah, totally. And I use a lot of natural remedies simply because, like, I think, our bodies were designed to heal themselves. And I think a lot of, like, natural remedies are better. They just equip your body to do what it's naturally made to do.
If you really search, if you're looking at one particular thing, if you really search your heart, search the Bible, and go with your gut.
Next one is Starbucks over Dunkin'. My opinion, they're both trash.
Neither. Overpriced, coffee flavored sugar. We
are waiting to have kiddos.
To each their own. To an extent, we try to plan our families. And we also, the other side of that, you got to be open to, what's God's plan. Does He want you to have children now? If not, wait. But as a general flat rule, kids are awesome. And this is just my opinion. Have them while you're young, while you have the energy to deal with it. People talk a lot of smack and all the bad things that come with having kids. There's a ton of upsides. So, it's really awesome. It's a great new phase in your life. You have to be ready for it.
So I think with the family planning aspect, it's okay to have like this goal or this idea, but at the end of the day, like that is God's ultimate plan for your family and for your life. And so I think you need to be open to that. I think it's wise to wait until you feel like your marriage is at a place where you can handle that third dimension, but also at the same time, like, the Lord is going to bring that into your life when it's time. And so, I mean,
you're never going to be 100% ready, whether it's financially. There's always goals you can accomplish. Have kids you can't afford. Like, it's just part of life, and
This says claiming Christianity or claiming to be Christian, but living with your boyfriend and girlfriend and cussing is wrong. Take away.
I mean, two different subjects. They're not really related to each other. Living with each other before marriage, which would be obviously fornication, that's insinuating that you're sleeping together.
It's a bad image for Christ.
Yeah, even if there's nothing immoral going on, it's not a good image. Adults don't have sleepovers, and I would never...
Let's assume like there is like sexual immorality happening. If you claim to be a Christian and you're not living in accordance to what the Bible says and what Jesus asks of his children, that is a very, very poor depiction of Christianity, and it sheds a horrible light on Christ. We are on this earth to show Christ to those around us, and that kind of hypocrisy, I guess, it is just a double standard that makes someone who's an unbeliever look at Christianity and say, why would I want to devote my life to Christ if they live this double standard? So,
and it's only been the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years that progressive Christianity has even pushed that as being a viable option for Christianity. That's never been accepted. The Bible is very clear about that. Yeah. And as far as the swearing thing goes, cursing, swearing, that's easier to fall into than falling in immorality, I suppose.
If you're a Christian and you don't believe that you are living outside of accordance with the Bible, and you have have dirty language, you have a dirty lifestyle, I encourage you to get into the word, and you will find pretty quickly that, yeah, the Bible is very clear on that. Someone says their unpopular opinion is being pro-life. Honey, we're all pro-life here, okay?
But it is unpopular. I'll give
it
her
is
that.
unpopular, but you stay strong, girl. You know what's right, okay? Pumpkin spice lattes are overrated.
Obviously. Never even had one. I should
They're
have
just
some.
so bad. This one says abortion is murder no matter what stage it is in pregnancy.
I mean, that goes with the pro-life thing, yes, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I
the moment of conception,
Yep.
the spirit's there.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, that is the beginning of a child, even if it's only 2 cells.
So no such thing as an unplanned or especially mistake pregnancy. God had that plan all along. Obviously, yes, God had a plan all along. But let me just say, if you are 2 adults doing adult activities, you're gonna have a baby, okay? That is a natural progression of those actions.
There is unplanned pregnancy as far as the couple goes. You know, you're not
Right.
planning on getting pregnant.
Right,
But
I was
as
just
far
saying
as
from like a family
there's never a
perspective.
child conceived that God has not put his blessing on that as a
Absolutely.
child.
You hear of these like married couples that are like, this was unplanned, this is a mistake, we really weren't meaning to have a
It was
kid.
an accident, baby.
An accident. I'm like, what? This one says small town gossip of yourself is entertaining.
Ooh, you must live in a different town, because it is entertaining, but it's most of the time it's not. It's harmful.
I mean, that's a good attitude.
It
Take
is.
that into a lot of areas in your life.
No, not
Phil.
if you're the one spreading the gossip. But I mean, gossip.
I know,
Everybody knows that
right?
from Little Up. Gossip's.
Gossip is
And I'm
so
talking to myself.
detrimental.
I mean, gossip's fun. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean,
too
yeah,
often it is,
nobody
it is
loves
extremely-
more to hear that dirty little piece of gossip
There's
about
a lot of
someone.
a lot of reputations have been destroyed by
yeah,
gossip.
I've been on the receiving end of some pretty nasty
Everybody has.
rumors. As you said, everyone has. But like, I don't find it funny. I find
We
it.
secretly know you drink Mountain Dew. Yeah, right.
Don't talk about it. I fully believe in traditional roles, gender roles in marriage.
I mean, traditional, biblical. I mean, yeah, biblical gender roles. God is the head of the man is the head of the house, and it's just the whole.
It is,
It
and-
really, when you really dive in and you really try, it sounds. In the modern age, it sounds backwards because that's been preached against with the whole women's movement and all that type of thing, where men are becoming feminized and women are trying to, this equalization thing. It does not work. It creates confusion. If you really dive in the scriptures and you really try to hold a marriage to the traditional standards, you'll find out that the responsibility is equal. It always seems like the guy gets a good end of the deal in that situation, but it really does not. It actually equalizes beautifully if every part of that is done with the God, husband, wife triangle.
Right.
And I think your children will thank you years later.
Absolutely. If the children see the correct chain of authority in the home, that creates a perfect understanding of authority for that child, and they'll take that into the rest of their life. I mean,
Right. Whether
even
it's-
police officers or anyone in authority over them,
Yeah.
they have a healthy view of authority in their life. The gender/trans agenda really is the beginning of the end.
We're past the beginning of the end, but I think it's particularly harmful just because of the reason that it's now attacking the children. And there's one thing about adults, you saw it in the early days of like the gay movement, that type of thing, the homosexual movement. Like it was all with the adults. Well, now it's going to the children, and the children that can't defend themselves being pushed in schools, churches even, which is sad. Progressive Christianity again, a lot of that stuff's being pushed, and it's really corrupt because these children are getting sucked into it before they can even know what they think. So it is really sad. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I believe it's the end of this. I believe it's a huge milestone in the corruption and crumbling of the civilization that we're in.
Absolutely.
It's just sad. But it is what it is.
I'm
so.
not going to put anything on top of that. You said it perfectly. I agree with everything
Yeah.
that was said. This one says, birth control is an abortion, and then she fixes it and says, oops, I meant birth control is an early abortion. So like she's not implying that birth control is the same as a surgical abortion, but she's saying as an early abortion, it is, in her opinion, it would be the same. There are all sorts of like types of birth control.
Yeah.
So my personal take on it, I think contraceptives are not unbiblical in any way, I guess. However, my personal take on birth control and like the birth control pill.
Like chemical?
Yeah, like
Birth
a chemical
control, yeah.
birth control. It alters the natural progression of a woman's cycle, the things that like her body naturally does. It can influence it. And so like personally, I feel like I'm not on board, but I do think that
There's a lot of side effects for it if you
yeah,
really
it can be
studied
super
it.
detrimental to
A
your
lot of
health.
people use it. I don't know that it's a biblical issue per se.
Right.
I'd be cautious with it.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, there's obviously every couple at some point practices some form of birth control.
Absolutely.
I mean, even abstinence would be a form of birth control. I mean,
100%.
right.
And I think like
so I think you have to be careful there.
Specifically like the morning after pill.
Yeah,
like
that anything that handles the pregnancy after the baby has been conceived.
Absolutely.
That's obviously no. That would be 100%. That would be abortion, or murder, if you want to put it that way.
Sleeping with socks on is a must.
Well, that is incorrect.
That is very incorrect. You are
pretty
so
sure
far
there's
off.
studies. I don't have them here in front
I think
of me.
you should be in prison.
But that's
People should dress up to leave the house.
From a firefighter EMT. Yes, never go out the house in something you're not willing for someone else to see you in.
Like a firefighter EMT.
Yeah,
like
it's all, like even if you're just gonna drive to the drive-thru and come back. Come on, like. Is that all you have to wear?
He's been traumatized before.
Like, I get it. If you're in your house and it's the middle of the night and you slipped and broke your leg in the bathroom, I understand that.
That's
we can
forgivable.
That's fine.
But these people literally...
There is no excuse to not wear pants to drive down the road. There's no excuse.
Like, you literally have to go get in your vehicle and make that conscious decision.
Oh, yeah.
To drive away from your house without wearing clothing. Yeah. I mean, like, and I guess, like, if you don't want to dress up, that's fine, just dress.
Like, wrap yourself in a gunny sack. Do something.
All we're asking for is, like,
oh, and if you're going to a store, like, come on. Like, something.
Singlehood is not a gift, and married people need to stop viewing it as such.
I got married young, so I don't really have a lot of authority on this.
Right.
But I can see how it'd be a touchy subject, and I'm very conscientious about this subject with single people because there's a lot of single people that don't want to be single, obviously. And I get this bad taste in my mouth when people are like, married people are like, yeah, keep it up, you'll find someone, and
Yeah.
it also gets old, I think, for single people when people just keep hearing like, oh, well, Paul was single and he said it was the greatest thing ever,
Yeah. So
it's a fine line.
you
right?
oftentimes, like you hear the saying like, oh, singleness is the gift. You need to.
Yeah, you can serve God so much better. There's nothing holding you down.
Right, and you can serve God in your singleness. Coming from like even my perspective now, like seeing the beauty of marriage and like how much we complement each other and even like the sheer companionship that we have in our marriage.
Right. Everyone has to find their own way in life. Like everyone's got their cross to bear and singleness might be yours, even just for a season. And that's tough. That doesn't mean that married people should enjoy their marriage less because other people are single.
No, in no way.
So I think there has to be some balance. No, it's probably not a gift. To most people, it does not feel like a gift.
Right. And so and I think there are people that can see it as a gift
Probably.
and like good for them. But like also people need to just quit telling everybody like it's a gift that you're single because like what are you saying? Like marriage is bad? Like I ain't gonna go tell someone that it's a gift that they don't have this.
And I have the same attitude to people that gripe about marriage. Like I get it, your marriage might suck, but that gives you no reason to discourage other people from getting married.
If your marriage sucks, that is on you and your partner and
the dog and the cat and the goldfish. Who knows?
Let's not get into that. This one says the term self-care is a convenient way to justify selfishness.
Depends in what context. If your self-care is brushing your teeth, then not really. But
I hope not.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. But like, there are ways of self-care that can be selfish. But there's also a responsibility to take care of yourself. Good grief, put some deodorant on.
Right? Like from a mom's standpoint, a lot of times see women spending $7 a day on a Starbucks coffee for self-care. Personally, I love a day out once in a while. But again, like I do see where you're coming from and saying that like sometimes it can be a little bit selfish.
Just like everything else, it has to be used in moderation, has to be regulated. So it can be a huge excuse.
As a Christian, Jesus put us on the earth to love people, not judge people.
Yes, absolutely. However, we are called to judge the fruits of people. We're not judging their heart, but we can judge their actions and what they show. I mean, it's just the whole thing of, love the sinner, not the sin.
So I think we need to clarify on judge. Anybody that is not a Christian, they don't know anything about the Bible. They know one phrase from the Bible, and that is, judge not lest you be judged.
But it's up to us to judge the character of the people we hang out with. It's up to us to judge every day when you wake up. Every time you meet someone, you are judging something about them. You're not condemning them. You're not calling them not a Christian. You're not writing them off as unsaved necessarily. Right. But it is up to us to judge the fruits of people. That's very important, especially as a parent. I mean, you have got to be very active about judging the people that your children hang out with. There's
such a disconnect between judging someone, in a healthy manner, like judging them and condemning them. And I think that when the world says, judge not lest you be judged, you're judging me. No, as a Christian, I am taking into account the way you're living your life.
And this question, they had said, Jesus put on there to love people, not to judge people. I'm not the Holy Spirit. The judging that we do is vastly different than what the Holy Spirit does. The judging the Holy Spirit does is that's eternal consequences. What we are doing is judging the people we are with to keep our lives as pure as possible.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't necessarily be using that judgment to ostracize people or to put down people. I think that's what I'm getting at here. You use that as an opportunity to witness to them.
Okay, I think we're actually going to wrap up right there for part 1. We're going to post part 2
sometime
in the future. But yeah, thank you for sending in your controversial opinions. It was fun. I hope we didn't like offend every single person watching this. Let me just say this. First of all, like we said in the beginning of this video, our opinion is just that. And we have so much to learn, and we have so much growing up to do.
If you have a different opinion, I would love to hear. Like, I'm very open. I try to be very open-minded. So throw in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion on these things.
I have an idea. Put your opinions on what we said in the comments. Try to keep it kind, but do what you gotta do. And we'll do like a reaction video to the comments on our controversial opinions.
That'd be fun.
And we'll just like hear what you have to say. And you know what? You might have some really good insight. And I think that would be good for us to hear, because like you can't be so sure that you're always right, that you can't you might have an incredible point of view on something that we discussed, and it would be good for us to take that into account. And so if you have something that you feel like you would like to share with us, and I don't know if we'll have time to actually do a reaction video, but hopefully.
If you want us to, let us know.
Absolutely, let us know in the comments. We might be able to
have a chat.
Yeah, it might be fun. So put those in the comment section, and like this video.
Watch for part 2.
It'll be fun. So hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.